All right. So the what does I do? So we have, first of all, we're going to go into another. Until now, we dealt with. We had the terms. We were using Ar-Chazer, we're using Ar-Yasha, we're using Makav, Pnimi. We're going to go into something more macro, something more global, which is called Olam Shana Nefesh. Olam means Welt, Shana means Yud, time, and Nefesh it's time, it's space, Zman Makam, Zman Makam, time, space. Olam Shana Nefesh. Welt, soul, Olam Shana, yes, soul, time, and space. So, what happens is as follows: that we have to get more real with time. We have to start closing the gap a lot more. When I'm still looking at it, when I'm still saying that the Eibishter is stretching it, and he's pushing me, he's squeezing me, I'm still not getting the point. And it's fine, because we're in the process. This is the process. What's happening is that this is Briyas Oilam. It's a square napkin. And then this is after the Eitz Hadas. And then more and more and more and more until we are completely disconnected from source, where this and this are two different things. And this guy is saying, I have feelings, what am I feeling? And if you notice, when you go into the feelings, and like you said, you try to get to the bottom of it, you're not getting anywhere. You can do this for 20 years. You can check in, you can feel again. This time really, I'm almost there. I'm getting it. I know where it's starting. I'm almost figuring it out. I'm right there now for real. And breathe into it, and I'm feeling it, and all you're doing is you're circling, you're not getting anywhere. It's as if like the sun has the strahl muskimteros from the sun, the rays that come out of the sun. Now imagine the rays of the sun is mitamol stopping, and he's like, I'm not feeling, I am feeling, I want to dress like this, and I want to have a nice, I want to shine in only in this house. I don't like going into that house. What's going? You have no existence. Your whole existence is from your source. You are nothing without your source. This is it. This is it. So as long as I'm trying to figure out something from this space of suffocation, from my oirev down, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not going to cover my bills. And everything that's going to happen, all the incoming that is going to happen, I have two messages over here. One, pointless. It's just going to keep coming and coming and coming. It has no point. And for the searcher, the guy that wants to connect, the guy that's looking and searching, the point is for him to find his source, to get back to source, to get back to oneness, to get back to his source, and to realize, I am not here to cover, I'm not here to deck for 100 employees. That's not my job. My job is to do, and whatever happens, happens. But what if? Oh, you still asking questions? No problem. Let's do this for another year. You still have questions? Do this for another year. No, now I'm really pissed. I'm gonna do a bit of 10 years of being angry. I'm not keeping anything cushioned. I'm not saying anything, nothing. I'm not talking to my wife, my kids. I'm just miserable. You're done with your 10 years. You've done your damage now. Now what? Nobody cares. Life goes on. Nobody really cares. You know how you know nobody cares? Because your friend that doesn't care about anything and beats himself up every day, nobody cares about him either. Yeah, they do a campaign, they're collecting money for him, there's a big campaign because it makes me feel good that I'm washing my pain by feeding into someone else's pain, but it doesn't change anything. Okay, the only thing is to get back to my source and to realize that this is my source. But how does it make sense? Now that I'm connected, how does it make sense? Thank you. You are meant to be driven. The only time you are going to surrender back to your source is when you realize that I can't figure this stuff out. And when I can't figure this stuff out, I'm shutting my brain down and I'm surrendering to my source, which is L'mayla Metam V'das. It's not here for me to figure out. And once I make peace with that, that's when my answers are coming. Hey, but I did the program and I still can't cover. Oh, so you still did it for a reason. So you're still not there. So you tell me that I have to surrender and then lose? Maybe. It depends on what level you want to surrender. How high do you want to fly? How connected do you want to be? How much do you want? Or listen, you can check out right now and what's his name? Risham is Yitzchak. Darke Rosh Yitzchak, whatever the Lashon is. Rosh doesn't mean Rosh. Rosh means whatever. He's in his own thing, not necessarily. Now, Rosh Hashanah, as we spoke about, is a time that, first of all, let's start, and as we said, we're going to keep to the promise that we said this, Sukkot is the season finale, right? They have Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Sukkot is the time that we're finishing. It's a three-pronged cycle. 1, 2, 3. Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot. Pesach, if you remember correctly, was a time where the first night of Pesach comes in this massive oil that lands in Welt. That's called Chochme Moichem de Gadlus. Moichem de Gadlus is Melech Malcham Luchem, which is when Melech Malcham Luchem lands in Welt, it says Makkes Bechoides. Okay, first comes Choshech, nog een kind Makkes Bechoides. This is what it looks like when the ultimate light, because he's not playing around. And why Am Yisrael? Because you guys I chose, I want you or not you. There's no reason, not reasoning, but I don't need to answer to nothing, to nobody, because ultimately we are it. Sorry, earphones in play mode. Okay, so that comes Pesach. Now, after the first night of Pesach, what happens is there's a massive tzimtzum. That oil goes back out, and it looks like when a massive missile lands on the beach, and now the next day you vacuum everything out, and all you see is a huge hole in the center, and that hole is called Gevuras. And for 49 days. Those gevuras look something like icicles, like black ice sticking out, and wherever I go I get hit. But my avodah then is just to become aware. And every time I become aware that I'm in sphere, I'm counting on a chesed, shebechesed, gevura shebechesed. I'm mindful, and a deeper mindfulness, and more mindfulness. And every time I become aware, that ice is melted away, or it's broken off, and we're going further, until I get to Shavuos, which is Keser. I walk into my Keser, and that's the ultimate goal. Now, that is though from Mesiras L'Eila. Pesach happens without doing anything. We were in Mitzrayim. We had no mitzvahs. We had barely anything, and from that place came the Mesiras L'Eila. Elul and Tishrei is the Mesiras L'Sata. We are putting in the work. We have to initiate the work. We are doing the work. So right now we're starting off from where we end. Shavuos, Pesach. After Pesach, we are facing Gevuras. I am here. And my Gevuras are here, and I'm walking towards Shavuos. Right now, I am behind the Gevuras. I am the Gevuras, and I'm walking to Chesed. I'm walking into Chesed. I'm walking into my Malchus. Okay, so what's the difference? There's a huge difference. Because Pesach, I'm still, I'm outside of it, and I don't want to get hurt. It's so warm and fuzzy. Right now, I'm coming from Elul, and coming from going into Tishrei, where I'm full of the Gevuras. I am in the Tzimtzum. We are here as a result of the Tzimtzum. I happened. My whole existence is my Tzimtzum. If not for my squeeze of my bills, if not for my squeeze and all that, I would have no existence. My whole existence would be in question. You know what I would look like? Dara Flogger. We would be sitting home and figuring out how to take out another ad against my creator. It would look like CNN. That's what it looks like when you have nothing, when you got $30 million a year to just spew hate and confusion, because that's my existence. I have nothing else going on for me. Now, we covered this Erev Kippur. Tzimtzum is Gevuras. It's here regardless. I have a squeeze. I live in Choshech. The moon is Leslie Megar Meklum. The moon is Choshech. The Levuna is Choshech. It has Gunish of its own. Choshech comes in place and tells me, it gives me a reason to my Choshech. If I draag met hem kop. As ik naar my Choshech is that I have anxiety, I'm struggling with parnasa, I'm struggling with my kids, I'm struggling with myself. That's my spiel that Choshech is giving me. So if I don't even know where my problem is, how can I fix my problem? If I keep focusing in my future, and I keep focusing on a year from now and next week and 2 weeks, and I'm afraid of my past, I'm missing the point. I can never heal myself. Because my problem does not reside in my past and in my future. My problem resides in the now. I have to recognize that Leslie Megar Meklum, I have no powers. I am nothing. Now, what does that mean, nothing? I know we hear this a lot. Bittel. What does that mean, nothing? Nothing looks as follows. Olo Lakim Betrua. Okay? there is, what's my relationship? Who is my Eibishter? What's God? What's Eibishter? What's my Eibishter? My Eibishter is my bank account. My Eibishter is my how beautiful my wife is. My Eibishter is Chalafa ben Zucher. My Eibishter is whatever other amazing stuff that we are caught up in the Choshech Solas. That's my Eibishter. That's what my Eibishter is. Eibishter is we have no hasaga what Eibishter is, which means that does not mean that I draai in the oigen that I weiß nicht was God is. Pink fakir. It gives me an address where to find my Eibishter. Oral lakim betru. It means like when I take the shofar and I'm blowing the shofar, it's something that's before aleph base, before letters, before any type of color. As we spoke about Rosh Hashanah, we're going into a place of shefa. I'm not asking for nothing. I'm just asking for peace of mind terchavas hadas. That's it. Raw shefa. Don't interfere with it, okay? And we take the shofar and we blow b'chatzertzes because shofar. We blow through each and every one of us because we are just a glove of Eibishter. We are just a glove. Mamalak al-alman. It's imagine you have a glove, a plastic glove that has 7 billion fingers, okay? And in that glove, he blew in a neshama, which is Am Yisrael, and then other stuff came as a default. Other stuff happened over here, and these gloves were filled up with it looks like a building, a house, but really what's inside of it? Okay, what's inside? My gullus, every gullus gives me another glove of what I'm looking at. This is my God. In Buvel it was one thing, and over here was one thing. In America it's instead of giving pain, it's indulgence. Chesed, fresh and eat and go and indulge more. 1 fridge, 2 fridge, 3 fridges, back up and back up. A backup generator, it's all indulgence to the point where it's just clipper. It's ending. It's never ending. It's never ending. The guy that has 20 mil in the bank, he's still working. Why are you working? What are you talking about? I have to do this. It's a munah, it's a messiah. Okay, beseder. Fine. That's me being caught up in that. But then comes Rosh Hashanah, when we go into a moment of awareness, moment of gevuras, of tzimtzum, when I'm recognizing that all of that I'm communicating with my Eibishter from inside, from the purest place, which is the koil shofar. Okay, once that koil shofar penetrates through me, blows through me, and it flushes out all my garbage, because I'm sitting in shul and I'm having a moment, I'm preparing, I know what to do, and I'm sitting with it, then I go into Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is a time that we feel nothing. That is the proper Yom Kippur. I'm not knocking anybody's experience. Okay, I'm just saying that is the ultimate experience. I shouldn't even say that. Whatever. Yom Kippur is a time that you're going into a place of atzmas. Now, what does that mean, atzmas? And let's not get confused with he's everything, so if he's everything, then I'm everything, so I'm even the God, it is God. Okay. There is a tzimtzum rishon, there's a tzimtzum sheni. There is one tzimtzum, as we said, is that there's an ocean, and I'm taking out water from the ocean, and I'm putting it in this cup. And now there's water in the cup. This water in this cup has no clue that he's out of the ocean. As far as he's concerned, he's Davik and Zars. He's still connected. Okay? There's nothing because if I'm everything, if Eibishter is everywhere and everything, then he exists in the little speck, just the way it exists. Shavim mash v'kotim v'gadol, it makes no difference to him. He's everywhere in the same place. Then came a tzimtzum sheni that like, hello, wake up. And all of a sudden, this water becomes aware that he's separate from his source, which is tremendous confusion for him. He's like, Ayeka, where am I over here? And then, as he finds himself separate, he's like, oh, I have taste, look at me, I have color, I want to go tan, I want to own, I want to have. But then he gets another, that's Golas. But really, what he's waking up to is that I'm aware of the greatness of my Creator. Because as long as I was still in my source, I wasn't aware of my greatness of this, because I was in the source. My finger is not aware. Once it's separate, that's when it becomes aware of it. Right now, he's one with it. Okay? So once he becomes aware, the tzimtzum sheni, he becomes aware of his separation. He becomes aware of who he is. Now starts the avodah of recognizing his Creator. Now, how is this going to recognize? How do I recognize something that's everything and everywhere? How do I do that? Again, I'm one with my source. I'm separate from my source. I'm realizing that I'm separate from my source, but I'm also recognizing my source. Now, how do I communicate with my source? How do I communicate with something that is colorless, speechless, thoughtless, feelingless? Anything I touch, he's not. And I am all that. The way I do this is by surrendering, bittul. By recognizing that I don't need, I am not anything. And when I do all that,
but being the same, basically.
What's that?
By also becoming colorless and.
Yes and no. Yes, first yes, and then no, because he wants dirba tachtonim. He wants to be in color. He wants you to eat a sandwich and say, it's delicious, it's amazing. That's a mistake that we're saying. Kaddish Atzmo Mittelach says Chassidus is Zadach Mekadosh b'Mittelach, nicht User. Zadach Mekadosh, but du kannst ja essen a kusher stickel Fleisch. Eat it and say, I'm feeling, not I'm doing this for Hashem and draaien mit de Augen. I'm tasting this delicious salty meat and it's rejuvenating me and I feel good and I feel fired up, and now I'm gonna chase it with a glass of wine, the good wine and specific wine, and get into it. That's what Chassidus is teaching us. Get into it and know that you're doing it for the higher source, for the connection. Now, what's happening is Yom Kippur, when we go into Kodesh Kodeshim, when I go into the place that Kodesh Muvdal, which means that anything that I'm thinking it is, it's not. Thank you Hashem. Shavim Mazir doesn't, he's not adding or taking away anything. I love you. Say that. Okay, next. What? So it's Kodesh, Hamelech HaKodesh. Everything, every level I'm getting to, I'm unwinding and untwisting that. No. He's not this and not this and not that. Until I find myself completely black and white. I'm dressed in a white kittel and black hosen, and I'm completely, I'm feeling nothing. I'm not connecting. I feel nothing. Then Atzmus can reflect on you. That's when Atzmus can, not that we are Atzmus, but in other words, I become a mirror that I can reflect Atzmus. I can pick up that type of texture. I can start communicating with it by feeling nothing. Now, once I get into ground zero, where I'm realizing that I am connected to Atzmus and I feel nothing, then comes Sukkot. Okay, so Sukkot is a time where we are embracing Yom Kippur. There's a reflection. Kodesh Kodeshim, I recognize that's Kodesh Muvdal. Everything is far, far away. And I'm feeling the way Atzmus, I can't grasp anything, I can't feel anything. And then from there I'm going into the Sukkah, which is I'm stepping into, I'm becoming aware, it's Tzimtzum Sheni, I'm becoming aware that I'm separate, I'm becoming aware of my source, and from that place, once I'm becoming aware that I already put myself down to nothing, and I'm becoming aware that I'm separate from my source, and that Atzmus is just a reflecting of me, I realize that I'm representing Atzmus in Welt. I'm representing this Echad, Yochad, and Yuchad in Welt. I am his glove, his fingers of Oipanov in Welt. And from that place, I'm stepping into a sukkah. And in the sukkah, once I'm in the sukkah, my food, my eating, my thinking, my thoughts, everything that I'm processing, everything that's happening is in this place of Ichud. I'm taking the lulav and the esrik, and I'm shaking the lulav and the esrik in the sukkah, which is in Kodesh Kodeshim. I feel nothing. I'm standing there speechless. I have nothing to say. Right now, I am walking into the sukkah, and I'm celebrating. I'm drinking. I'm eating. I'm shaking the lulav, which is uchad from everything together, right? Iskalas, which is you have the lulav, which is the spine. My sheder, my hadassim is the heart. My eruvas are the lips. Close, and then you have the esrig, which is keser. So from that place, I'm stepping into my sukkah, and the place in the sukkah is it's almost like being in a washing machine, I would say. Any thought, anything that you want to work through, anything that you want to clear yourself of, You go into the sukkah and just, after you had this cleansing from B'chatzos, Olikim Betrua, and then you went into Kodesh Kodashim, Yom Kippur, completely washed, and especially this year we had the Shabbos in the middle in such a powerful time, Yudke Vavke, every day is a different letter. We're walking into the sukkah with that place, from that place together, with even my Aravis, which is, I now know that my lack of feeling, my judgments, my choshech is a part of my makeup. It's what's holding me here. I'm not letting my choshech rob me and tell me that I have a problem expressing myself. I have a problem communicating with people, or whatever judgment, fakakta judgment I pass on myself, but rather, while I'm still dependent on the sun, as long as I'm still looking at the sun to be my supplier, so the day that I'm not getting so much sun, let's say on the 17th day, when the sun is starting to move away and a quarter of my moon is already not in choshech, why isn't he calling me back? Why is he not taking my call? Why didn't he say good morning to me? Okay, chutzpah, and then maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I said this, I'm starting, all my judgments are coming up. But once I recognize that the sun is not my provider, I'm not dependent on anybody to see me, I know that this is what I represent. I'm Leslie Megar Mekum. This is as far as I can go. And I bring that into the sukkah. I'm bringing everything, my whole luggage, my baggage, my shortcomings, my longcomings. I step into the sukkah with that place, Baguda Achas, with one. And from that place, now I'm looking at myself. Now I'm looking at myself, and any judgment I want to pass on me, which is like, oh, I didn't pay this, I didn't pay that. I already know now, for sure, this year, Tavshin Pei Bez, which is Panim Bepanim, there's nothing I can do. Because I have 30 days of no work. There's nothing I can do. The same way nobody had anything to say when COVID came and I couldn't pay the bills because business was closed. There's nothing anybody can say. Because right now it's in a way more, we're going into Yud Gimel Midas Harachman, we're more in micro, we're more in Olam Shana Nefesh. We're more, until now it was detailed, now it's more personal. It's not anymore globally. Now it's your world. Do you believe, do you surrender, or don't you surrender? Okay, now, Olam Shana Nefesh is, we can say it's Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is Shana. Nefesh is Yom Kippur, with my Nefesh. And Olam is Sukkot. I'm going into my world. The Rebbe is saying it over here, but we're still looking for 100% confirmation on this layout, but regardless, it's not a stira. So the vart is as follows. The ganze Avodah von Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is being played out on Sukkot, which means the Rosh Hashanah, I am Allah Lakim Betru, I'm blowing the shofar, I'm tickling up there. I have no clue what's going on. It's choshech. I have no clue what I'm doing. Yom Kippur, I mean, it's atzmas, there's nothing going on, black and white. Sukkot is when we're starting to see what happened. What's the tzachol yishpil that over? This is the time that I'm seeing it. And this is the ganze avodah from the Ketores, the non-Ketores, the Kohen is angegangen in Kodesh Kodashim, the Gemara Ketores. And as the Rebbe says over here in the Maimer, is that schach is begematria hindert, and ochet is kenege the hindert maya koilus, which is given in Rosh Hashanah. So my gebluzen de hindert koilus, and deze and the schach was dekt in sibbe the sikkes, and in mid de hindert koilus, from that kind of one I'm starting to connect to a different type of realization, a different type of reality. 1 second. Ella, do you want to put down the thing one more number? Thank you. Okay, there we are. So Choshech Anan Arafel, we're explaining here what the whole avodah is with the Choshech Anan Arafel. Like what does it mean for us in 2021? So when the Eibishter asked Adam Marish Nayaka, where are you? Till today, we're trying to figure out who we are. Once we had the Tzimtzum Rishon, once this cup of water was taken out from the ocean, and now I'm waking it up to, hello, you know who you are? So this, as this water is becoming aware, he's going through different processes. He's going through choshech. First he's like this complete darkness, he doesn't know. And then there's an anan, there is a cloud. And then there's a rafel. A rafel is a blizzard. I mean, he has no clue what's flying. How do I deal with it? Now, all these apply to our day-to-day life. We can go through in a single day a choshech and an anan and a rafel. Choshech is, I don't know what's flying. Anan is that I know where I am, but I can't see ahead of me. Okay? Ich weiß, wie ich stehe, ich weiß, ich darf decken, but ich kann nicht warten, but jetzt do is good. And then comes a rafel. A rafel is confusion. There's a blizzard. It's fleets is dangerous. Okay? Chaos. So we're gonna go, and this is what the Kohen is taking. He's doing this whole avodah. He's lining everything up from Rosh Hashanah. Yom Kippur, he goes in there and he nails everything. He takes all the choshech, the anan, the rafel, everything, and he lines it up to a perfect kav. He becomes the mashpia. He becomes kahana rabbi, and from that place, he's mashpia for Gans Klal Yisrael, which turns into a simchas beis hasheva, which is nisach hamayim. Nisach hamayim is colorless. Everything, we make sense of everything. I'm in complete flow. I see everything for what it is right away. There's no challenges there. Everything, I'm like, good. Everything is good, and I don't even see the choshech anymore. I don't bother myself with it. How do I walk in anan? How do you walk in anan? When you're in a cloud, how do you walk? If you turn on your high beams, your brights in the cloud, when there's a fog outside, you are not seeing. That thing is right in your face. The only way to deal with this, and I don't know if anybody here got stuck in a blizzard going up to Montreal, is to focus right in front of you. 2 feet at a time. And I think it's easier to drive at night, because you have the reflectors on the side, and you focus just one at a time. If I'm starting to think, what if it turns? What if the highway's going to turn? I'm finding myself off the road. I need to stay focused, and I go. 1 step at a time. And it takes, that's tzadik b'manasa yichid. I'm panicking. 5 feet ahead, the trailer is going. No. Stay focused. Hulk up. Stay focused. And the more you can stay focused, the Nesher is flying. He's gliding in the moon. The minute I'm thinking about 10 feet ahead, game over. Now imagine doing that from 10, 15,000 feet in the air. When you're flying like this, and it's like, what's going to be? No. What's going to be? You're done. You shred it into pieces.
Nailed it with this motion.
So this is Yom Kippur, and this is Sukkot. Sukkot is we're walking into the Sukkah, and I'm coming in by Guda Achas. I'm coming in with my Dalad Minam. I'm coming in with my heart. I'm bringing my mouth, my malchus, my tzimtzum, my ultimate tzimtzum. Remember something. One thought can take 12 hours to explain. Right? The famous Arizal, they went to sleep for 1 hour. It will take me 80 years, and then I still won't be able to cover a fraction of what I just saw. My malchus peh is the biggest troublemaker, but that because I need 6,000 years to wake up to Ayaka. Okay. And as we are getting into the bottom of the barrel, the bottom feet, it starts looking what it looks like right now. It's so fragmented that I'm dealing with my payroll, I'm dealing with my little nitty gritty. That's what it is. And I need to deal with it. And from that place, to realize that there too I need to surrender. And listen, Ashrecha, that you need to surrender from that place, because there are some people that are still covering. Some people are still making payroll this week. They're good. They're going into sukkahs. They're totally fine. He's going in with the best wine in town, and he's gonna have an amazing time. Okay, and for those who can't cover, l'chaim. Yeah, this one. But I have to be a mensch. Shake it. It's your ego. What do you mean? I'm a man of No, it's your ego, because the person that owes you money that didn't pay you this week, you're not judging him. You're long past that. I'll deal with him later. Let me just, my ego first protect. So it's your ego. It's my nachash. The nachash has a billion eyes. You know what they look like? Exactly what they look like. My daily struggle showing up in 20 different ways every single day. Every day I'm dealing with the same garbage. It's a choshech, it's a tzimtzum, and then this kenesha, takbi atzma kenesha, the chutz miyat comes and shows up if a drach madam cup to tell me that my pain is A, B, C, and D, when really no, I'm just in a tzimtzum, so I can recognize that I am the black part of the mirror, so my atzmas can flash in me, can flash through me, without me getting in the way. And how am I going to get this lesson? We're not even speaking the same language. We are talking Aleph, we're talking ABC, and he's talking Aleph Beis. I'm still talking to my Atzmas, I'm still dealing with him, give me this, give me that. He's like, dude, don't you see how I communicate? I don't even talk this language. You guys have twisted my words into, you've spinned it so much, and this is what the klolos are. This is what we're talking about, the klolos. I'm not giving you any klolos, you're giving yourself klolos. Right? What's the pasuk? Not me, not you, your children. Your kids are going to be twisted, not my kids. This is your spin, and you're going to spin it out, and I'm going to let you guys spin. The ikishev shichas loy banav mumum. The ikishev is out there. Loy banav mum, not my children are mum. Se veel gunish van mama kinder. The ikishev is out there. You guys have verdreite door. No judgments, just unspin it. How? Surrender, but it hurts. There's only one way out to take out that ingrown nail. You're going to have to go through the pain for a minute. That's it. The Torah doesn't change. There's no arguments in the Torah. The Torah gives us the raw data. Now, the Eibishter gave us a promise that he's going to take us into the land of promise, the land of Eretz Yisrael, the land of milk and honey. And you know what that is? It's a space in our brain. It's a space, it's a mindset, it's a space of das that nobody has. Nobody has what we have. Nobody has a Pesach, nobody has Shavuos, nobody has Sukkahs. And when you start becoming a little more sensitive, we have a Shabbos. People don't have that. No other nation in the world has such a thing, such a gift. To be able to celebrate, to take a moment where I can just shut off completely. And here you have a perfect example for Ar Chozer, for a klala that's a bracha. The fact that we feel penalized, that I have to shut off my phone and have to disconnect. That's the klala. That's the klala, that I have to be twisted into shutting off my phone. So what happens? How does he do that? There's such gevuras coming down, there's so much pressure the whole week that finally Shabbos comes. I'm like, wow, thank you, I have an excuse to shut off my phone. And then you become appreciative of it. You're like, thank you. I can officially unplug my phone. And he's telling me like, dude, test me. Because this is what I am. That's when you touch me. Just don't do anything. Align yourself with me on that day. And you're going to see what's going to happen. I that. No, you're still not surrendered. You're still playing games with me. I need you to get the highest level content. And the more fire you are, the more pure you are, the more he's going to push. Because the more you are asked to be pushed in order for the fire to come. There's tzira chalamish. We're Nimshul, Marshall is that we're like a flintstone. A flintstone is the stone that has a firestone. Okay, sometimes you need to hit it hard and sometimes less. How do you bring out the fire? So it all depends how big the fire is. So the more you take, the more of a beating you're taking, the more gevura, the more fire there is there that needs to be triggered in order for you to light up the fire. So the sooner you get the point, the sooner you'll be free. So that is, after we process the Nun Shara Bina. Nun Shara Bina is, as we covered this a few times, and it's never enough because there's so much to be done on this. The Nun Shara Bina is, as long as I'm still rationalizing, as long as I'm still looking for a way to understand, to make sense of what's going on, I'm still playing in my Madregas of Bina. Nun Shara Bina is that I got to a place where I'm realizing my Tati his lack of love to me is my power. That's what's keeping me going. That's my match striking the box. My mommy not loving me was holding space to protect me, to build a hard shell, because if not, I would just be, imagine an apple growing on the ground. It would be ripped apart before he made it the first day. Okay? And I'm starting to realize that all my restrictions are just there to hold space for me. Where was I going with this? Before that.
Finished.
Sikhs, alle dalad middel aan de sikh. You take everything.
Yeah, l'chaim. So everything, the ganze pekel around the sukkah, and the sukkah is almost like a. I want you to imagine, like we have that we're made of. You know, the esesphere is Chachma Midas, Chachma Din Adas, like the setup, the way it's on the picture. And every time you think of something negative, just imagine the sukkah just vacuuming it, clean it. Every thought that comes, just clean. Just on the spot, spin it. There's a reason they told us to drink and not to sleep. Right? Just keep spinning and keep cleaning yourself. Every negative thought, try it for 7 days. Every negative thought that comes, any judgment, this guy, that guy, no, nothing. That's just feel how. First on the surface, if it's a judgment, there's a hate, something that you have, an anger against somebody, just get rid of it. And if something that somebody hurt, or somebody did something to you, that somebody mistreated you, or actually wronged you, go to the pit, go to the bottom of it. Where do you feel that? And how can I get power from that? How can I recharge from that? How can I get koyach from that? How can I get stronger from that? That's what you want to do, and that's the koyach of the sukkah that we're going in. And really, the sukkah is really a time to only for a seitoif. It's for just light, to just shakal of eating and dancing and drinking and everything just on a positive note. It's we already cleaned everything. Over Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we already done all the work. Sukkot is just a time of celebration. It's no time for cheshbon nefesh. I'm just saying it for if we're still stuck in that, but I really take that back, because really it's a time to double down on simcha. There's no time for cheshbonis, because we already know now that the cheshbonis mean nothing. There is no cheshbonis, because once I'm open and I'm connected to my source, that's all it is. What's going to be after? Again, you're putting lamayla metam zman into tam zman. We just did the choshech anavarachel. We just connected all three of them. The Kohen Gadol he just perfected it. He mastered it. He made the perfect connection. From mata and mala, everything was connected perfectly, and now we're going to nisach hamayim, where we don't even do wine, right? Because wine is still something that is a lack of. I'm getting into a simcha. Water is something that is just, it's everything. It's also. The Baal Shem Tov says, when you see water is a simon brucha, what's a simon brucha? And we did this over the summer. We go to Florida, or we go to a beach, and it's exciting. What do we see with the beach? What is the relaxing? What's happening on the beach? What do we see on the beach?
Freshness.
What is it?
Freshness.
What's the freshness?
Going back to source. The water is pure.
And what's happening?
Connect to nature.
So what's happening is that everybody in their own level, at some point I'm blocked. Alright? I'm surrendering, I'm happy, but at some point, the water is just open. It's chachma. It's just completely. I'm broadening my horizon, my whole vision.
Expansion.
It's chachma. Chachma can see. Chachma doesn't need. Chachma sees for as far as the eye can see. He just sees. He doesn't necessarily process. He's not binatizing it. He doesn't understand. I'm not restricting. If I'm in bina mode, I need to understand, okay, what's this glass? So how much do I need to get me the fix? I need seltzer so much, and I need this cup of, I need this beer, this wine, and I need to understand my room, this size, big down this much. When I'm in chachma, I don't need to understand anything. It's just like, wow. And when you say, wow, it's just completely surrendered, and what happens is that it cleanses me. How does it cleanse me? By opening up my limitations. I'm not looking anymore to 10 feet or 20 feet or 30 feet or the biggest visionary can see, this is going to be a good business, but you're going to have to do so and so. No. I'm wowed by the mountains and the clouds. It's wow. It's open. It's bigger than any type of pipe that I can put myself through and see life through. Right. Any questions on Sukkot?
Du kannst mir machen, sagen, dass Yom Kippur is the ein Tam Bereich, yeah? It's nothingness, kind of, yeah? Spät Yom Kippur, Sikkes, bringt man alles daran in dem Besuch. Ich will klug verstehen, was arbeiten die zwei Sachen. Is it nothingness or is it everythingness? Alle Tamen oder Untamen?
Okay, so there is yesh ma'ayin. Okay, we are yesh coming from ayin. My Kitta Aleph Rebbe, let's start my Kitta Vuv Rebbe. Aleph is too small, I have no time, I have no brain, I'm still good with him. My Kitta Vuv Rebbe, he's ayin compared to me. And I'm the yesh. In other words, he's like, wow, it's my Rebbe, I have fear or whatever it is. Okay, I mean, we were corrupted because that was unfortunately the way we had to be raised, that we couldn't have authentic love or awe from our Rebbe, we just had fear. Right? So, but let's just play the game. Yeah. So my Kitta Vuv Rebbe is gewaldig. Next year he's just like, okay, schön ausgewachsen. I can 15 Blatt Gemur in Kedushin and next reizt my next Rebbe. Okay. I can only grow as much power or as much as gravity I'm receiving from the other side. As much space as you're holding from the other side. For instance, if we were sitting over here with 8-year-old kids, it's a different year. It's a different year. So as much space, as much as the gravity is holding, that's how much is coming. When my Eibishter, when my creator, when my source is my bank account, when my source is my hamad, is my happiness or whatever it is that I'm basing my car or this, then that's as much as I can receive. That's as much as I'm talking about. I'm in Gullus and I'm in Shivya and I'm trapped, and this is as much as I'm going to receive. The more I'm able to surrender, the more the seed that I'm planting. Now let's put it this way. Let's go one level above that. If I put a seed into the ground, if this seed is telling me, I'm only surrendering half to you, I'm not giving you a whole. What happens? What type of fruit am I getting? What type of tree am I getting? There is a struggle over there. But when he's completely nirked, he's completely surrendered, he's batul mavutul, and he's like, I'm all yours. When you have a client that comes to you, therapy, and I keep nachan, and he's still measuring what you look like, what you're saying. Wie kommst du hin? Wegen an Tate, wegen der wie wachstige Lashuv. Okay, the Bukhara, he's 50% here. He's not surrendering, so you can get him 50%, and from the 50, chances are he's going to spin it. Right? He's going to come with pshetlich here. Nachals do dich zu lernen. Yeah, which is, let's give the perfect example over here. The way the Hamoin 99% or 90%. Let's forget about the percentage. Okay, the majority of the people, this is git stickel gemure. Feste gemure. Oiter git gesucht han. Der git gesucht. That's galus. It's complete galus. It's ego. It's the way Chagas is used to look at Rebbes. Like we're measuring the level of what does he look like, what does he sell. But when I come in and I'm completely surrendered, and then I understand what the Gemara is here. The Gemara is not here. Abayarov is not here to entertain me. It's here to untangle a certain verhaktkeit that I have in my cup. And now that I learned, I'm opening it up. And then I'm opening it up more. And then I'm opening up more. He's not here to entertain me. It's a consciousness that was brought in 26 or 2700 Vlad Gemara that were brought in that they understood that this is what we're going to need to make it through to the end of the ocean, to climb ourselves out from Malchus Edom, from Gullus Edom, from all that garbage, to be able to make it into the next level. So once I'm surrendering, the deeper I surrender, that's as much more I can, then I can start building. So if I walk into my Yom Kippur and it's I'm surrendered, how? By I'm fasting and I'm doing, because sof, we coming from tzimtzum. We're starting from a place of din. We're starting from a place of gevuris. Gevuris means lack of, where he said, Baruch Shem Elolam die. He said, stop. If he didn't say stop, we would be ants. We'd be little ants, cockroaches, if he didn't say stop. Because he can, nothing is nothing, right? Look at the table. Who has more bittul? You or the table?
Probably the table.
Clearly the table. Because the table, if you tell me to sit over here for 5 minutes, I'm like, no, fatik. Like for you, I'm not leaning down. You're not putting your hands on me. For the Rebbe, okay, say the no, okay, yeah, Mesiris Nefesh, yeah, fine. And then I'm starting to measure my level of zchusim that I have, that the Rebbe is leaning on me. The table has 100% bittul. It's not tachlis kavana. That's not what he wanted. He didn't want animals in the house. He didn't want people to walk around like dummies. He wanted people to question him, so we can understand. And from this level of understanding, I can get to a place of consciously ayeka. Oh, I know that I am in the water. I know that I'm separate from the water, but I know that I'm Davik, and here I am. I have all these midas that you created, so I can understand you from this place. I can make sense of you. So that's Yom Kippur. Now I'm getting to a place where I'm not eating, I'm not tasting, no shofar, nothing. Black and white. Not even say I can't wear leather, nothing, because the sandal, the malach that does the tefillah, that's out too. It's just me and him. Really, what we should be doing in Kippur is sit in complete silence, nothing. But we can't, because we're not trained. We're going out of our minds, right? We're not there yet. In the times of the Beis that's clearly what they did. They were just standing there, and the Kohen was doing the work. What do you think they were doing? They were going through. They were going through a massive process. People were passing out, probably, for sure. People were going crazy. I mean, they were living the behemoth through them. That's what they were doing. The Kohen was doing the work, and they were up and down, cleansing. They went through a cleansing process. You understand what it means? That the degel turned white. What type of process did they go through to go from red to white? It wasn't red. I mean, they saw it came out white. Right? There was a phun that turned white.
The phun or the chit?
The chit. Okay, turned white. What type of process? You think it's just a miracle? They went through a process. They went through a washing machine. Then gestanden dat in awe and fear. They process, and then here it is. First of all, from Elul, everything was closed. They came already the regels on from Elul till end of 2 gedushim again. Business verspart, verhakt, nothing. What's going to be? Then so you're not surrendering. They knew where it's at, and we also now know where it's at. They're telling us where it's at. And if you still have questions, we went through the process now. As we said, COVID is the first makkah that gave us like the crack that we understand that we're not in control, and it's above our hands, and it's above their hands too, because he's going to have to send you the check when he's told to, without him wanting to or not wanting to. That's what's going to happen. And now comes more in a personal, more prati. Where comes a month where I'm trapped. I'm like, okay, what have you learned in the last year and a half? What have you learned? Who's in control of it? But not like, oh Hashem, no. If you need the L'chaim, have a hati, and I've done mine, Igar on a yontiv, I'm checking out. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Whatever's going to happen, he's going to leave Seder. So that's what it is. That's the way it has to be. I'm going to stop it. It's bigger than me.
You're saying Sikkis is the reaction of Yom Kippur.
Sikkis is the reaction of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. That's when I see what these koilas look like. Oh, Allah Kim Betrua, what's the Bechatin? What am I doing Yom Kippur? I was sitting there going, tabak, I couldn't wait to get out, to get in. But really, that's what it is. It's that dry. It's that real. It's that dry. There's that much, of nothing going on. And that means that it's betam, but l'mayla matam v'das. The mayla matam v'das. Who asked that we're saying the same thing 5 times? It was you? Somebody asked, like, really, this is the whole Yom Kippur? I'm saying, al-chay de zelbe zach, nachamol, nachamol. So there's something called a mantra, right? There's something in meditation where they repeat one line over and over. It's brought down in Kabbalah also. The same thing. Ashma misap and koet kel. Ashma misap and koet kel. Ashma misap and koet kel. Ashma. What happens is you say it over and over and over again, 500, 600 times, especially if you do it in a group. Your mind stops thinking. The mind shuts off, and then you get into an elevator. Say, we have other methods of doing that. We can do it with music. We can do it with drinking and other situations, and we can also do it with breath work. What happens in the breathing? You knock your brain out. You knock out your thinking. You stop thinking. You can't think. You overload your brain with whatever oxygen, and he goes to sleep. And if you're the first few times you fall asleep, but once you become good at it, then you come now. Okay, I want to come rested. I want to see what's going on over there, and you have an experience which is either visual or beyond visual, which is just I felt amazing. I felt my neshama. I felt my. I felt this, I felt that, right? The guys have massive experiences. People are breaking out from their goals just by doing breath work. So that's what it is, and that is sukkahs, yes.
So where does Tannik Bilti Mergish come in here?
Yom Kippur.
You said Sikkis.
No, Sikkis is Mergish.
Sikkis is Mergish.
Sikkis, thank you for asking. Sikkis is a time where we are Kaddish Askmo Mitterlof. I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm doing everything. Alles in because I am just a vessel from him. It, creator, that is Leslie Megar Maklum, Sof, he created billions of creations, Maluchim and this, that and the other. He has one creation that he created, that's called human, Adam, and then Yisrael Alba Mashal, which is his highest. He created something that can process the highest level consciousness in Welt. Lamata she'ein mata yosra amena. Something that's so tachna she'ein yosra tachna amena. We are the bottom. Okay, and from this, and now we go through a process of, first of all, Rosh Hashanah, which is he blows through us. He opens up all the pipes. Then Achaz Bashana, he goes into Yom Kippur, Kodesh Kodeshim, where it's Atzmi, black and white, Gunish, not even a mikveh, Gunish, Ais a mikveh, Ochlish. Okay, and then we go into Sukkot. Once I realize that ich bin Gunish, now I'm stepping into Sukkot. I'm going into my Sukkah with my Lulav and Esrik. I'm standing in his head and I'm shaking Lulav, and this is where Netzach, and this is where we go to everybody else, the Ein, Imus, and we're like, Sei gesund, Kushim das. This is it. We are in the brain of the motherboard of everything. We are here and we're dancing in a sukkah, shaking the lulav. We're doing different things in the lulav, different movements that we're doing to communicate and to receive in this place, from this place. Nobody has access to that. Nobody. It's a 7-day festival of absolute craziness.
It's interesting that we see the vibe and the entire Kader Oilam. We see the vibe between the Shua and Kippur and Sikkah, the change of, and people don't know what it is. It's the energy that automatically past the Shua, past from Kippur, and Sikkah comes and.
What you're saying is that we're missing the point, or you're saying?
No, what we're talking about just explains it in depth, what we feel, and everybody feels the same thing.
I'll tell you even more. I was in the park before, and you have to connect everything, You look at the energy out there. There's just it's warm weather. It's happiness. You connect everything. Everything is back to us. Everything is here. They all feel. It starts by us. It's not the other way around. Because remember, now I have the ability to see that. Pesach, not so much, but now Sukkot, I have the ability because I went through the process of this Gevurah. You've gone through the process of this massive Gevurah where it's like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? What's the But you've had enough of the back and forth where you're gonna have to pick up your hands because that's it. Tomorrow 7 at 6:43, you're done. There's nothing you can do. And you have two choices. You can play the victim card, you can play the anger card, you can play the question card, you can ask questions, you can check in with questions till the last minute. I'm gonna answer. And then you can just be like, where's the best tequila I can find? Because that's what I'm gonna do. I bought 2 nice bottles of tequila. and you're gonna make kiddush. That's my minhag here. I have my yidid comes over here. We have the meal together, and we make kiddush on tequila. That's the way we're going to sukkahs. So that's the other option. And this is what the Rebbe would give us the license. He's like, Chevra, he didn't bring over sukkahs. He locked himself in the sukkah. It was 1 year he bring, and then somebody broke a leg because there was so much pushing. He's like, no. Sukkahs, you guys go. I'm sitting here, and this is it. Go out there and dance. So, L'chaim, we have 24 hours, a little less than 24 hours for all your shenanigans.
I already did on Friday.
Good.
And now when I'm coming back to a question, I can't answer a question because that's a puzzle.
No, but you know what? I go through that torturous process. I can't ask the question, but ask the question. If there's a question.
Ask the question, because then
you're back to good.
No questions.
So ask yourself the question and then open up yourself.
I already surrendered and whatever it is. It's just interesting to see how it's going to play out. It's going to be interesting to see.
One of the Reb Nachman tells us that one of the things is. I heard this from Shea Stop many years ago. It was by Farbrengen Taka Aleph Slichas, one of the Slichas days, and he said that one of the things about Tshuva is don't bring up your old Chataim. Like sometimes we talk about it. He's like, don't talk about it. And I heard that this year in Oman that Reb Nachman says, do not. The biggest of it is to forgive yourself. Part of it is to forget about your own Avedas. Don't remember your Avedas. Don't remember your past. Which is, how is it going to work out? Because if I'm still holding on to it, now that we already know that it's Abo Lakim Betruah, that everything is more, it's more edel, it's more energy, it's more ruach, it's more spirit, it's more feel. My hergation are more real. My hergation.
It's the opposite word from the original also, yeah. Solche kalan shkuches. If you forget, then he remembers. If you remember, he forgets.
Who says this?
I think the original.
We'll get to that. We're covering Chabad here. We can process that, but I'm sure that there's a spin there. But just to get to the point is, because it all leads to the same thing. If I am holding on to, hold on a second. We're talking about humbling yourself. Always humble yourself. Know your place. Yeah, humble yourself. No, I'm not coming in there. Humble yourself because that's my anchor. But for me to try to hold on to attachment. How am I going to cover? Let's see how this is going to happen. I'm processing through that pipe, right? I'm squeezing the yeshia into that a 3 diameter pipe versus. Let it go crazy. I don't care how it's gonna. Let it blow up half a muncie. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's all bracha.
I already surrendered to that, but it's gonna play out sometime, some way.
It's gonna play out the same. You know how it's gonna play out? The same way it played out last year and the year before.
Probably.
Okay. Except for this time, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna see like, it's really not me. It's just a spin. I am Gevura because I'm holding such fire. Eventually, what's going to happen is as the rock. The flintstone keeps striking the other rock, you're going to start paying attention to the fire and not to the rock. That's the avodah. To understand not how does it work, but rather where am I in all this? Where's my central? Where's my fire in all this? What am I feeling in all this? What's the message in all this? What's lighting up in me in all this? Right? This whole thing, this whole spin is here to give me some fire. It's here to wake something up in me. Oh, it's a new level of emunah, it's a new level of confidence, it's a new level of oil, it's a new level of fire that I'm bringing into Veld. That's the message. That's me going into the moment and not processing the past and the future, which is all nachash.
It was just interesting to see. I have a nephew that works for me. He travels from Williamsburg into. So he was sitting Friday. Like I saw myself sitting here 6 months 6 months ago. What are we gonna do? Am I gonna stay in? Am I gonna get everything out today? Should I say until Monday? And I was looking at him. Okay, go home. What are you worried? I mean, where were you 6 months ago when I was worried? And then 3 weeks ago I was worried like that, and I couldn't think straight. And he couldn't go home, and he was worried about what are we gonna do now.
So a scenario like that is a gift. It's a good archoizer for you to realize, how did I process 6 months ago? The real secret is, we're starting again. We're just starting. The real secret is, the real fun starts when it doesn't work out anymore. That's when you've arrived. Until then, it's just to go back to the basics a minute. What's a maimer? So Tafshin Lamed Ches was a very, very powerful year. It was a very interesting year. The Rebbe had a heart attack that year, and now that we're not kids anymore, we know how to go further into it. Thank you so much. There's homemade stuff too. But anyways, okay. So now that we already know, what does it mean when a Rebbe gets a heart attack? It's we're talking about a massive download that he went in. You want to know what complete surrender is? That even the Rebbe was like, he went all in. Now, really, what happened that year? The power of that year is what I was born that year.
Oh, okay.
No, but Lamed Ches was a. What happened was actually, yeah. So there's two versions to the story. There's part of the story is that Rabbi, he had a heart attack. He came out to say a mimer, and he was connected to the machines. And no, I'm not going to say that version of the story because I was confirmed today. It was confirmed that that's not true. That story is not true. So I'm not even going to put it out there. But what happened was that his beat was irregular. When he started saying the mimer, his heartbeat went into like a 4-year-old kid, which means as follows. We know how to look. We're all here. We have enough data. We know how to process what a Rebbe is, right? We're not looking at a Rebbe. We're looking at a Rebbe it's a consciousness. It's a consciousness that we're not looking at Lubavitch, Bells, Pupa Vision. That's all nonsense. That's Moichin the Katniss. We're all graduated from that. The Rebbe said Mashiach, not Mashiach. All that is nonsense. We're not looking at that. We're looking at the conscience. What did this tziruf? What is he bringing through? What's coming through him? What type of atzmas is he reflecting in Welt? What type of energy is he bringing into Welt? That's what a Rebbe is. Okay, and the more surrendered you are, the more nothing you are. You have 40 years of Torah. 40 years of endless spins on how, when, where. I just saw today in Pardes, it says it's mentioned 50 times in the Torah, Yetzias Mitzrayim, and he goes through the whole thing. And he asked the questions like, why 50 times? He could have just said, "Ani Hashem lekach mich." That's asking Eretz Mitzrayim. What's the absolute 50 more? So he goes into the Nin Sharabina. And he's saying every single time that it's mentioned, Yetzias Mitzrayim, it's another address, another password. It's a door where you need to go through, where you're stuck. It says, don't take Ani Nishkan Elohim Acharim. Well, even okay. Now I know that when I'm dealing with money, it's Elohim Acharim, and this is and when I overcome that, that's a door to going into another level of going out of Mitzrayim. And then another level of going out of Mitzrayim. And there's 50 levels till I get to the Insharabin. Okay, and he says actually that it's mentioned more than 50 times, but those times is just a reference, but these times are actually with an address to how to get out. So there's a sikh and there's a maimer. When a Rebbe went into a maimer, it was basically he went into a flow. He didn't prepare for this, right? I mean, he was always learning, but didn't prepare. He just he started a passing and he just went. And this was the ashpah that came into Welt at that time. So here he's saying this Maimer Yud Gimel Tisher, which is today. Yud Gimel Tisher is the day of L'Katchila Ribber. The Rabbi Marash said L'Katchila Ribber. What is L'Katchila Ribber? L'Katchila Ribber Pshat Hazoi. It's a very powerful, famous line. It's being used here in the Chabad consciousness. It's being used on a daily basis. L'Katchila Ribber, and people live by this. I can't cover, I can't do, I'm afraid. Look at Chila Ribbe, what do I have to lose? L'chaim, you're going to take care of it, sei gesund, I've done my part. Let's look at Chila Ribbe. And continue making the phone call you're going to make tomorrow, but from a place of, I'm just there, I'm just doing a thing, this is how I'm making better. The outcome is irrelevant to me. The outcome is going to be the outcome. I can't stop the outcome from happening. The outcome is going to be the outcome. I'm just doing it. That's the Chila Ribbe. And if you see, when you're dealing with these powerful consciousness and these shameless tzirufim, the Chila Ribbe is, he passed away the day of Yud Gimel Tisher, which is Yud Gimel Midas Harachamim, and Yud Gimel is 13. Why 13? Because 13 is once again the Sukkah. We have this is actually Hillel's word. We have Echad is Dratzen, right? You have Al Ches. Ches is 8. Dalad is 4. It's what's that? 12. And then Aleph is the 13. The 13th is when it's above Lamayla Metam from time and space. It's above everything, and I'm just surrendering to it. And that is the sukkah that we're stepping into. That I am Lamayla Metam Vadas, and I'm just surrendering to everything. It's a license to just surrender, and not to have to make any calculations. But maybe here I'm being irresponsible. Maybe this guy's going to pay. What are they going to say about me? But really, I'm a mensch. Sepasnish. I have to. I can't do it like this. I have to. No, it's ego. It's ego, as we covered before, because the person in shul that did kach v'kach, you're not holding any grudges in him. You don't care. You say good Shabbos to him. You're talking to him, and if you think you can get something out of him, you're going to even smile extra hard to him to get that extra type of squeeze from him that you think you may receive. So it's all ego. So it's another one of the eyes of the nachash that we're taking a pick and we're just going right into the eye. All right. And it's done much easier with Grey Goose or Smear. Yeah, listen, we're all like-minded people here. We're all sitting here, we all understand, and everybody listening to this, we all understand what the real thing is. We're not fazed by the moichin de katnas. We're not fazed by the judgments of what people are going to say, because we've graduated. It's called Nin Shara Bina. We've graduated the world of judgments. We are mastered. We've done all the judgments. Everybody that went through a workshop knows all about judgments. My tati, my mommy, my rebbe, my teacher, my brother, my sister, the community, the place, my clothing, my dress code, all the judgments. We mastered all the judgments. Now what? Where's that gotten you? Nowhere. Nobody cares. Even after the workshop, still nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to hold your hand and walk you through the process, except for me. But that's my ego. But again, nobody is going to do that, and you can feel sorry for yourself. So Sukkot is a time that you can actually finally surrender to yourself. You can surrender to allowing yourself to forgive yourself after you came out of Yom Kippur, and you promise that you will not betray your boy again. You're not going to betray. We're putting into language that we understand. You're not going to betray your atzmas, your sensitivity to where atzmas is flashing. There's no judgments. If I have any judgments in the way, I'm blocking that flow. Right? So it's a couple of days after Yom Kippur. So for the next 2 weeks, allow yourself to just be. To just be.
Can you phrase a minute? Atzmas, the word atzmas? I don't know.
Atzmas is. How was your Yom Kippur?
Surrendering?
Rosh Hashanah, you felt that Shefa, you experienced, you were feeling, you were still in touch, you were still in the body, you were going through a process of elimination, a process of Eibishter, be my king, be my melech, I want, I need, I have to, I'm here for you, you are everything, Ato Avinu, Makenu, and I'm nothing. Yom Kippur is a time where I'm going into Tzimtzum Sheni. I'm realizing that I am Leslie Megar Maklum, which means that I am nothing. Just like the moon has no light, I am nothing. And once I realize that I am nothing, I can start growing. So Yom Kippur is a time where I feel nothing, and when I take myself completely out of the picture, then Atzmus can finally mirror at me. And what does Atzmus feel like? Tonic built in mortgage. You don't feel. Let's let Moshe Weisz you can't begin to understand. If I can't begin to understand and I feel nothing and I am nothing and it is nothing, then what's the point? Sukkahs. Because once the seed is completely dissolved and it's completely surrendered, then it can start growing 100 apples on one tree from one seed. Because I'm completely surrendered to all possibilities are possible, which is I'm allowing Ein Sof to go through me. So that is Sukkahs. So that is Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. That's Atzmus. Atzmus is that I'm feeling nothing. I just am, and most of us, the way we experience it is by boredom, headaches. It's the worst. Somebody expressed to me without mentioning somebody that I spent Yom Kippur with. Is like, it's the most miserable day of my life, Yom Kippur, and it was the most beautiful thing somebody could have told me. Because that's what it should be in Golus. It's a miserable day because we don't know how to process Atzmus. It's the most beautiful thing that Hashem, our Creator, can hear from our mouths coming out, where I'm like, it's just a miserable day because I feel nothing, I understand nothing, and it's how else am I going if I'm in the Bundaks, if I'm in Sibir and I'm in the freezing cold, it's a miserable day. That is Atzmus. It's black and white. There's no words for it. And then from that place, I can step into Sukkahs where I'm going in, and I'm like, Atzmas just neared me, just Bluetooth, just connected. We just made a connection, beep beep, and then from there I'm walking into my Sukkah, Ba'aguda Achas, with my Lulav and my Esrik, where I'm grabbing all my lack of, all my shortcomings, and I'm stepping in there, and I say, this too is part of my creation. I'm doing it quick because we did a thing, but you're going to listen to the first 45 minutes, it will give you an understanding.
Thank you so much.
Fine. By the way, Moshe, just letting you know, the next level is to feel Yom Kippur. So that's. No, so
it's going to come. But I liked it.
Let me go back one. So we're talking about appreciating feeling nothing, Yom Kippur. So when the Lag Boimer thing happened, some of us expressed feeling, and some of us expressed that we didn't feel anything. I would tell you that nobody felt anything. Anybody that said they felt something, it's the snake hiding in the skin of a little child and screaming, because really you felt nothing. You have no kesher. I feel nothing.
Even though I know someone?
Okay, so then there is some sort of a kesher, but even that, no, you did not feel, because
Devastated.
Fine. I'm not denying it. I'm not getting into that. I don't want to take away. I'm a big cynic when it comes to that, because on a deeper level, it's Rosh Hashanah. It's a difference between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, right? Because if we really felt, if I was really devastated that somebody got trampled on, I would walk out on the street tomorrow and be like, "How you talking? This guy did a job for you. What do you mean you're not paying him? How can you not? What do you mean you're watching him trampling? Why aren't we up in arms screaming bloody murder when people are stepping all over each other? Why aren't we up in arms when saying like people are suffering in marriages and children are suffering and nobody's saying a word?" So it's my own ego, like, oh my, I feel. Say that I'm not knocking. I'm not saying, but we're talking about Dakas Shabbat, we can get real, fine. But I'm not.
Do you all do this?
What? Say that no, it's not. We want to get. Listen, we're getting real, right?
I actually want to talk about it.
Okay. So the vart is. Let's get back to the Nakuda. The Nakuda is that why am I not feeling? Because I'm numb. I walked into shul over here and I actually didn't feel much. And somebody just said like, how much can we feel? How much can I feel already? There's so much going on. More feeling, I'm numb. I'm just completely shut down. And the truth is, it's a very powerful line, because really we do feel. Because I'm a human being, and if I see somebody in pain, I'm feeling. It will take me a minute, and sometimes in a hard day when I have this many layers of pain of my own, it will take me another minute to connect. But ultimately, if somebody was to sit down in front of me for 60 seconds and paint the picture, I would start crying. Like, it's brutal. Like 45 people got crushed, suffocated, and like somebody. So the vart is that after so that's what you were saying. You didn't feel and you enjoyed it. So that's called archozim. That's called that we go through life of sometimes there's two ways of getting there, through indulging and through lack of. I can get there when I have everything and I have everything and everything and everything to the point where like I was just nimbus in Moshe. Somebody please give me some meaning in life. And finally I came to zoek maar a word of the past. I'm like, wow, this feels so good. This is it. Boom. He has a moment of connection. And then somebody that's squeezed to the bone to the point where he's like, I just surrender. Connection. So we can get there two ways. We're just asking b'chesed v'rachamim. But some of us are made from Chasudim. He grew up on a silver spoon. He has everything to the point, and then he goes out on his mission to search. And then you have somebody that comes out all bloody and beaten up, and it's gevuras, the bashama. I prefer the other way because through indulgence, it's very hard because you see people that come into the workshop, guys that had it all good. You can take a hammer to his head. He's not feeling anything. But somebody that's been through enough pain and he's ready to get fired up, and you push one button and he's like, okay, I'm out. I've suffered enough, and he's ready to surrender and to go and go. So
does it have to do with how close you are?
What do you mean?
To that thing? Because people they're closer to.
If it's closer, it's more negated to me.
It's more negated.
Yeah. If the tree that fell down on the Amazon right now, does it have an effect on me? The answer is yes, because everything that moves has an effect. Everything has a ripple effect. But the tree that falls down here and right outside, there's the little tree actually. There's one of them that's already on the floor. It affects me way more than the tree. So if it's closer to me, it's closer to me. It's like the ingredients. The first ingredient is the most ingredient. The second, then it gets watered down.
So Yom Kippur is the same thing.
Which is?
It has to do with the closeness. No matter how close are you to the source to feel Yom Kippur.
How real are you getting with it?
So he felt like Boimer. I didn't feel like Boimer. The three Bochum that passed away in Europe, I felt it because it was my nephew, but he didn't because it was not that close.
Correct.
Yom Kippur, he doesn't feel anything because he's not that close. Some people do feel it because they're closer to the source. So.
Okay, but here we are training to. Now you keep okay. So we're talking about this is more of on a prati, something that happened, like Boimer trickles down into people that were closer, but really they weren't. It wasn't a shama. It was a klali because everybody got affected by it, one way or another, emotionally, spiritually, or everybody got affected by it. Yom Kippur is klali. It's everybody. Everybody's affected by Yom Kippur. Everybody fasted Yom Kippur. Everybody took the time, and everybody worried about it. And everybody was going through either a migraine or lack of caffeine or whatever it was they were dealing with, sitting in shul. Everybody, it was touching everybody on a personal level. And now we're going into Sukkot. We're going to open it up as to, now we're going to see it in color as to what it meant, what type of effect it had. But when you're saying you didn't feel nothing, really. You don't want to really feel Yom Kippur. That's how I'm processing Atzmi. How else are you going to process? How am I processing something that's colorless, feelingless, emotionless, and nothing, and it's everything at the same time? How do I deal with something like that? How do I deal with something that's push, and then pull, and then just a perfect balance of just being? So if I prepare for a month and then I don't eat all day and then I get to Nila to the point where I'm completely depleted from everything and anything, and I'm just surrendering to it. Some people at Nila, they can't wait to get out, they can't wait to get in. It's the consciousness. It depends at what level the consciousness is. Depends where you're at. There's different ways of processing it. But not to feel anything, there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's Atzmi.
So there's no connection.
To what?
To that. To Gashmi's physical feeling.
It's above. It's above. I just use that as a marshal that something that we are when I've felt so much, I've processed all types of feelings. I listen to the song and I'm excited about it, and I'm like, okay, now what? Another one? Okay, I'm gonna get excited again. At some point, I get to a point where I'm just happy of just being. I just want to be, just to be in the moment. I've been beaten so much. I just want to be. I just want to be with myself. Right? I don't want to see. I don't want to feel anything. I just want to be. I'm tired of sugar, I'm tired of salt, I'm tired of excitement, I'm tired of making parties, I'm tired of going to parties, I'm tired of performing, I'm tired of... How many compliments? You give me 100 compliments, I'm throwing up already. I want nothing, I just want to be. That's Yom Kippur. That's how you process Atzmi. I just want to be. Nothing. Nish kan mikveh, nish kan shofer, nish kan gunish. And as we said before, the real Yom Kippur is to just sit in a room with candles and just be. Not say anything.
Das ist sehr interessant. Ich habe Schuchen in Montreal, ein Jiddisch Kind.
It's really a time to it's a time to get real. It's a time to graduate, and as forgetting about the past, forgetting about the other. That is the avodah. It's not easy. It's not easy to forget my past. I am my past, right? Same way I am my future. I'm going to open it up, but we so much identify ourselves with my status, how much have I accomplished, where do I come from, what is it, and as long as you hold on, it's like the eagle that has one leg tied and to a chain and trying and flying, and at some point he's just gonna run out. I think I said this. I did say this. Erev Yom Kippur. Yeah, over here the Yom. The Erev Yom Kippurim. Havodah hi charata al aver, b'Yom Kippurim kabbalah al haver. The avodah from Erev Yom Kippur is to have charata of the other and kabbalah al-haba, which means charata al-other means that I'm having charata of on the past. Does not mean on the past. That means that me living in the past. There is no past. The Nachash opened up that
Charata of me living in the past.
The charata of me holding on to the past. I have charata on me holding on to my past. And that's where all my trouble is coming from. And whoever, mi ala b'har Hashem, and mi yokum l'kem katsher, who, if you want to climb the mountain, nekik hapam avar levav, has to be a clean heart. Don't hold on to anything. If you want to fly, just dust off your wings and go. And now is the opportunity. We have now is the time, Sukkot, to get into that. So, if you can do anything for yourselves, is forget about the past, check in, sign up to the program. Imagine you going to a what's it called? A festival. We're going on an 8-day festival. Checking into a sukkah, sitting in a sukkah, and if you want to do reverse engineering, sit in the sukkah right now. Go into the sukkah tonight. Your sukkah is up already, and tell me what it feels like. If after 1 minute you don't feel like a complete yokel sitting over there, even though it's warm outside, and then feel tomorrow night when you walk into the sukkah. And feel that supercharge of energy that you feel in the sukkah, and then the day after sukkah is the same thing. We tried this many times. We used to sit and we bring, and then the day after sukkah you go in there, it's like, get me out of here. It smells like an ashtray. I mean, it's uncomfortable. It's hot. I'm sitting on a bench. I'm not leaning. I'm not back. My feet are. I can't. I have to. Every time I need something, I have to ask somebody. I have to climb over people, and the bench is chetzi falling apart. It's still dripping from the top. Am I in? Am I out? It's a disaster. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But you sit there in sukkahs. Yeah, go on. Sukkahs. Is that what that was? I thought there was signals that you want to go already.
Huh?
No, go. It should be free now. You sit there in sukkahs. There's just an energy. There's just a vibe. Just step into it and do it. And once again, we don't need to put oisias or letters to it. Just being in the sukkah is just being there is it's colorful, it's exciting, and if it looks like the kids are happy because that's what it is. They're happy because it is oh, they just have on the noise sicker and all that. They're okay. So what does that mean? They're not excited about the bathroom. What does that mean? That shows you that they give you the children give you the full color of what's going on. They go to a wedding, they're excited. Why are they excited? That's the full color. We look at it like, oh, they're excited because they're going to a wedding. No, they're telling you where it's at. You're going to a wedding, it's an exciting thing, it's a colorful thing. Any questions, or you guys want to get into the minor, or you don't want to get into the minor?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do, let me see which piece we're going to do here. So we're going to Ozvav and Psikas Tejri. Okay, it was Ayuv and Mash Matzini Kesher Ben Tekiya Shofar L'Sukkos. What's the kesher between Tekiya Shofar L'Sukkos? Ikidua, yeah, Ozvav, I mean. Ikidua Sheschach, the call Sukkos HaKosab Schach Mashmer. Ikumoy Shemaveri Kodesh La'ab Merzakum V'Shechnarech Halach Hilchas Sikka, Da'enik Sikka Ila Schach Bavad. Da'hana Shloirak Sha'schach Ikar HaSukka, Ela Oidzoi Shebe'inyan HaSchach Mazvat Gidzi Cheros Kol Inyan HaSukka. The Gematria Meya. The ganze Sukkah is the Schach. Schach is the main Sukkah. And Schach is Gematria Meya. And Keneged Meya Koil is a Shofar, Shenahagi Yisur L'D Koil B'Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, we're gebluzen 100 koiles. Vatama Dover who can as bad like El Yosh Inyan HaSukkah Nimshach Al Dei At Tekiya Shofar Rosh Hashanah. Hayo is that the Inyan of Sukkah hat schon gefangen in the Tekiya Shofar Rosh Hashanah. She Rosh Hashanah Hamshacha Shemamshichim Tekiya Shofar da Meya koiles. The Hamshacha was mal gebringt from the Meya koiles. He beoefend the Bekesa, the Behelem. Okay, like I said before, we do not bench the Chodesh. Rosh Hashanah, we do not bench the Chodesh, and that is, it's Bekesa, it's Behelem. V'achakach bala de gila b'chag Sukkos. In other words, Sukkos we find out what we did with the Meya Kolos and Rosh Hashanah. That's when it's revealed to us. Because when I'm blowing the shofar, Chanukah Sukkah is the Titzuchok. It's something. It's not our language. If I walk into a meeting and I blow the shofar, Tekiya Shurim Teriyo, Sazan said it, Tekiya Shurim Teriyo. It's not a language that we understand, but he communicates. This is how the highest level of communication that we have is with the shofar. Okay? Pay attention to this. And I want you to get real with this. I want you to get as tamimistic and as innocent as you can get with this. What we're saying, what's going on over here. The schach of the sukkah is a dogma to the anana hakovet. Kadei bagamara anana kovet hoyo. Begin over op sakalach b'shechnorig ad mazak doge sukkahs bas gelosim. V'hu nimshach manana ktores diem kapur. The schach from the sukkah is a dogma to the anana hakovet. In other words, why were the anana hakovet there? As we said before, there's Choshech Anon Arafel. There's 3 levels in my avodah. There's 3 levels in my day-to-day process. I'm going through a process of Choshech. It says Choshech Rafel. I'm not even aware that I get up in the morning, I don't know what's flying. Then there's a level of Anon. I know that, you know what? I have a mission to do here. I have a deal to do, and I'm going to stand for the truth. I'm going to bring out the truth, and I'm going to bring justice to this. That is Anon, but it's fanapelt. I can't see because there's a fog. How do I drive in a fog? If I turn on the lights in a fog, it's right in my eyes. But if I turn off, I just keep the minimum lights on, and I focus one foot at a time, slowly, I'm going to get through it. And then there's Arafel. Arafel is Toyu. It's complete chaos. I'm taking a beating. But I'm holding. I know that my truth is my truth. I don't care. When Avram Avinu gegangen to Akedas Yitzchak, he went through Choshech, Anan, Arafel. He went through all three processes. He went through a process of, first of all, like complete Choshech. I don't even know why he's asking. Anan, which is he can only see 1 foot at a time, and then Arafel, which the Satan came and did every type of spin on him to distract him. Are you crazy? How can it be? Yitzchak is going to be the child that's going to come, that you're going to be mamshech, and here's telling you the shech, and what's going on over here? Something you're not understanding. Something is off. He had no doubt. He nailed it. There was no question. Every type of orchois that it came to him, he was, this is it. It made it more real for him, to the point where Avram Baboiker, he got up in the morning before any type of doubt, any type of spin. He was very sure of himself where he needs to go. So that is my ananim. This is the koyach that we have on the sukkah. The sukkah, when I step into the sukkah, I'm going into the ananim where it's choshech. I can't see 2 feet in front of me, but I know after going through the process of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where I'm going into Atzmas, is black and white. I already know now. I can recognize a feeling from a mile away because I went through a time. I went through a time and space where I felt nothing, and I made it through 26 hours of feeling nothing. I went into Kodesh Kodeshim, so I'm already recognizing. I know what the real deal feels like. All that was done from the Anana Ketoris Yom Kippurim. What is the Anana Ketoris Yom Kippurim? The Kohen Gadol went into the Kodesh Kodeshim and the Anana Ketoris. What does the Anana Ketoris feel like Yom Kippur in 2021? You know exactly what it felt like. You couldn't see a foot in front of yourself. What am I doing over here? Now I have to get on the floor and bikken zich and this is called Ananam. I have no clue what he wants. And no, that's Surah Riga Malchus. Am I supposed to cry now because I'm not really... Did you feel something on the Surah Riga Malchus? Said it. A firing speech. Really? Did you feel something that somebody that got skinned like a goat? Okay, somebody that got killed 2,000 years ago in the most brutal way. Okay, yeah, sure.
But the koyim I felt.
Where?
The koyim.
Yeah, of course, I felt koyim too. My pants got dirty. Okay, but and that is the Anana Ketoris. That's called the Anan. I'm not really seeing much. Okay, so this is what I'm bringing into my sukkah. What is my sukkah? My sukkah is my day-to-day life. This is what I'm bringing into my day-to-day life. I know how to process getting up in the morning, feeling choshech, anan, arafel. And what's on the other side of that? Sukkahs. Other side of that is my atzmas. This is where I reside. That's the whole message over here. That's the message of me not being able to cover my payroll. That's the message of me, God forbid, going through a process of health or anything. Children, any type of request, any type of symptom I'm feeling is all that for me to get the point, to step into atzmas, and it should be b'chesed v'rachamim, that we should just get the point, not from squeeze, because it can get pretty squeezy. והוא נמשך מענן הקטורס זה יום הכיפורים, לעבודה בדיר יום כיפור. הביר העניין הוא, כנס בעד לאל, דתחילה בו המשוך את ראש השנה וכנס פנימיס ביום הכיפורים. צייב תחום ראש השנה. And Yom Kippur it's more pnimius. Rosh Hashanah it's still, it's out there. I'm blowing the shofar, I'm getting all cute, the apple and the honey. It's out there. Yom Kippur it's more pnimi. I gotta invest. I can't eat. Okay, I'm coming in by Kalnidran and say, darf lose Wasser, seltzer, apples, please. Alright? Another minute, I'm out, yeah? 10 o'clock, everybody wants a glass of seltzer. In other words, like this. Listen to these, this powerful line over here. The only way I can internalize something that is l'mayla mitam vadas, something that is so pure that it's kaddish and muvdal. Okay, I'm assuming I'm talking to people that are real, that are looking for the real deal. Okay, the only way you're going to process something that is real is when there's going to be a v'chisa anana katoris sakaporis. when the clouds are going to be covered. I can't see. Nobody can see me and live. You can, because we are from Tzimtzum. We are created from a place of lack of. That's why we pull so much to the negative rather than the positive. All right, I'd much rather be talking about sodas than talking about happy, about myself at least. All right, everybody's so busy, it's always busy. What about? I had such a hard day. What about the good day you had? But we're so easy because this is naturally who we are. We are the lack. We are the moon. The less did a job that we're spinning it and we're verbalizing it in negativity, but really it's a choshech. This is who we are, so we can hold space for the atzmos, for this light. But the only way He's going to show itself to us is through b'chis anana ketoris esakaporis, because we are in Golas and we are in a place of tzimtzum. We are in a place of anoiche aster panim. We're going to have to find the bracha through the klala. So through my ananim, through my clouding, when I don't see, it doesn't make sense to me. Why do I need to work so hard? Why do I need to go through all this? That's where it's at. This is the program right now. Surrender to it, accept it, and then you're going to get out. Okay? This is the avodah that we're doing in Kodesh Kodeshim, which is stripping myself from any type of indulgence, of feeling, of anything. Once I have the Anana Ketoris, once everything is covered in the Ananim, and I already realize that I can't live in the future, and I can't live in the past, because when I'm in a fog, I can't see behind me or forward. I just have to be focused on right in front of me. Once I recognize that, and I'm surrendering to the moment, to the Hoiva, I'm surrendering to Emunah and the Kamfa Nisharim, the essence Kamfa Nisharim, that's when Shasuku Hashem Ananai Kovid. Then these Ananim turn into Ananai Kovid. I'm waking up. What does the eagle do? The eagle works with Tzimtzum Sheni. We covered this before. The water in the ocean, he has no clue that the fish in the water has no clue that he's in the water. He's one with the water. I'm taking out a cup of water from the water. As far as Atzmas is concerned, this is Oid Ein Sof. This water has all the DNA, everything exactly the same as it is in the water. This water in the cup is still not aware that it's a separation. As far as he's concerned, he's water. I need to hit him once, twice, Ayeka, and then he wakes up. He's like, whoa, what happened to me? Where am I over here? So now we're almost 6,000 years later from when the first time we got a first dose of a wake up. And we're like, what's going on? Who am I? What's going on? Who am I? Where am I? Please, somebody. And I went through the process of, I am a millionaire, I am not a millionaire, I am a Talmud Chacham, I am a Tzaddik, I am a nobody, I'm a Schlepper, I'm all the judgments. I went through all that, and now the world went through a cleansing where the reset button was pressed for me to wake up to my true self, that I'm surrendering, that I'm nothing. And from that place of being nothing, I'm bringing awareness, just like the eagle. What is the eagle? The eagle brings awareness to nothingness. The eagle, when he flaps his wings once and twice, and then he glides. When he flaps his wings once and twice, he energizes the energy, the air around him. He brings it to life, and then he glides with that. He just holds that, and the ruach is carrying him. He's gliding on nothingness, on the moon. He's holding on. He energizes nothing. He energizes the moment. If he's like, what's going to happen over there? He has to keep flapping. But the fact that he's surrendered to it and he's staying focused, he just glides. He goes on it. He energizes the air. He energizes the air. And this is what we are doing over here. We're going into Tzimtzum. We can't see too far. And then once I took enough of a hit that I'm like, I'm not going to cover. Nothing I can do is going to get me out of this. Then I'm using that as an anai-kovet. I'm realizing this is all. I'm surrounded by greatness. I'm surrounded by Hashem. In whichever way you need to touch your spiel. Because of achas bashana. Achas, one. It was one. Everything came together. Right, we said before, we started off with Olam Shana Nefesh. Shehiv b'chinas achas b'nefesh u'b'makam. She'avoid the nasis al dei kohen gadol, shehum hamakudish. The kohen gadol is hamakudish, which he himself is also kadosh and muvdul. B'chinas achas sheb'am Yisrael, he was one. There was only one kohen gadol. Ikmosh kasav yavdal han like this shekodesh kadashim. Aharon was separate. He was separated to be Magdash Kodesh Kodeshim. He became a vessel to receive this whole thing that we're doing, Hamelach HaKodesh, for 10 days. That every time I'm like, I have a moment of inspiration, and I'm like, Hamelach HaKodesh. Kodesh means muvdal. He's separate. He's separated. It's higher than that. I'm surrendering. He's not this. I'm listening to something, a good word, a mimer, or a gemara, or a Rashi, or a piece of food, and I'm like, wow, I'm blown away. I'm like, that's also not my creator. He's higher than that. Until I get to the point of Yom Kippur, where he's nothing that I can grab on or understand. Okay, the Kohen Gadol was that. He was Kodesh HaMuvdal to receive Kodesh HaMuvdal. He was the perfect vessel to receive Atzmas. And once he received Atzmas, which means he connected Onan, Doubt, Choshech, Arafel, all types of confusion, he was able to bring it into one line with the Ketores. He was able to align it with himself. And then came Sukkot, Simchas Beis She'eva, which was Simchas that we have never seen or seen, we can't imagine the type of Simcha because he mastered it. When he get to the point of nothingness, complete surrender, even in the Beis HaMikdash, this was the Bifnin Shebivifnin. It's a place within me that feels and experiences nothing, just I am. On these three levels of Asham is Meyusad the whole Seder Shtalshalas. This is it. You could eat some bigger sakodesh and mus but smusa shalamatzal berchish mit zeus und smusa vein allem eze iluk shikam la chazashon hu levad bekoch bechot deliver yesh ma'aim ve'efes hamucha mamash. We can go into a whole thing on this, but basically we're talking about Atzmas is not here for any type of reason. In other words, just to, in a nutshell, just to give a little food for oasis for the brain, the sun has no choice. The sun has to shine. It's mukhrich, it has to shine. It's not by choice. It's not that he can decide tomorrow he's not going to shine. The sun is going to shine no matter what, because that's his job. Eibishter did not have to create the world. Nothing forced him to create the world. He did not need the world. It wasn't something that, I sometimes feel the need that I need to express a song. I have a song, I want to share the song. It's mukhrich, I want to share the song. There's a level of I don't need to share nothing. I don't need to feel nothing. Atzmas is not forced, is not moved by anything. He doesn't need to. He chose to. That's it. Tachas Apshitas, he could and not at the same time. He's both. He doesn't need to. Okay. Shemes Aglas. Okay. There's nothing before it. Hu levad bekoche v'chot deliver yesh ma'ayin. It comes out of nothingness. Ve'efes hamuchlet mamash. Okay, it's the zero of zeros. We say in beginnes achas bashana. Ba'olam makam u'benefesh. Achas bashana means that we're getting into a place that is not mucher. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't need to be. It just is. This is what Yom Kippur is. It's black and white. There's nothing going on with it. U'benefesh mis'aglas yachdo v'ris kohen gadol v'ekpirim kodesh kodesh and beginnes atzmusim husins baruch shenimshu beginnes ashan. Olam shana nefesh. That's how it comes down. Beginnes achas emshechas begili achar kach b'sukkos. Once in Sukkot is when this nothingness comes into color. It comes into full display. The hine mevur b'mishnah b'seder avodas yom akapirim she'kohen gadol hoy mamtem kodesh kodesh at shehoy abayis mismal ashan. The kohen gadol was waiting in the bayis till it was full of ashan. In ma'ashem zeh. What does that mean? The Kohen Gadol was waiting in the Kodesh Kodeshim when he did the avodah of the Ketores. He lit up the Ketores. The ganze Kodesh Kodeshim went ungefüllt mit smoke, and then he waited until then. And from this Ashan turns into Schach. What does that mean to us? What does it mean to us? Coming into Sukkot, we're coming into our Kodesh Kodeshim is full of smoke. You have no clue how things are going to work out. It's full of, you can't see a minute ahead of it. This is how you build a sukkah. From that place is when you go in first sukkah shalamecha. This is where you go in, and that's how you can tap into a moment of achdus. That's how you can tap into a moment of the journey to home, the journey that you've been following. You were trying to get to somewhere, trying to receive, to understand something. If you want to get a taste of what that feels like, this is what it looks like before you go in. Habayis Mole Asha. It's full of smoke. I can't see a minute or a second ahead of it. And this is how you go into the sukkah.
Ask him.
Yeah.
You mean to say in general, if I can't see anything, it's like full of smoke. That means I'm coming somewhere,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. That is. Listen, it's as real as you want to get with it. He's not. It doesn't push unless you want it. You can check out. And like I told him at Rosh Hashanah, you know what checking out looks like? He asked me a question. He's like, so basically you're telling me if I surrender to this, if I surrender to one problem, then he's going to bring me another problem, and then another problem. So it's endless. How do I win? So I'd rather not. I mean, at what point is it enough? So we'll stop at this Nakuda. So there's two things going on over there. Number one is you can check out, you can not check out, you can say, okay, I need a break. And what that looks like is stop searching, take 2 or 3 months or 4 months, whatever you need, or a quarter, and don't go to no check-in. Don't call anybody for help. Just say, I'm going into animal mode. I don't care. I'm done. And it's fine. I need a break. Okay? That's being fair with stopping the process of growing. So that's the word. The other ways also, I'm not sure if that's what I wanted to say, is by abayis mala ashen, when it's full of smoke, that's when I can see. I when there's a tornado, I can find the eye of the storm. Right? When I walk into a house that's everything is quiet, it's hard for me to find a quiet room. So I place myself here, I place myself there, I can place myself here, and then tomorrow I find out that all the action is over here. Or I can go into that room and tomorrow I find that, but if I come into a house and there's chaos everywhere, I find a little room like, okay, this is my place, this is the eye of the storm. It's easier to find my space when I'm in the storm. And it goes to the same thing when somebody born and raised when he has everything, it's hard for him to find. I mean, you see guys coming into the workshops that were born and everything is fine. You can sit on him for 3 hours and the guy is not finding he doesn't have his squeeze. Somebody that's been put through the ringer, he knows exactly where he wants to go. Like, I'm done. Get me out of here. Right?
What do you say as far as going into one problem to the other problem when you surrender?
If I am, that's probably going to take me where I want to go because I don't remember where I wanted to go. If he's saying is as follows: if I have a squeeze today and I just surrender, I'm like, you know what? Okay. You're going to take care of it. Tomorrow I'm going to deal with another problem because it's all squeezing me into the point of Agdus. It's getting me to a place. It wants to get me to a place of complete surrender, to the eagle's wing, get to complete Amun level. And it all depends how big the fire is, what fire you bring into the table. If you need to bring such a sharp and fiery fire, it's going to put you sometimes to the end. I know where I wanted to go. The second thing is there's Kitchebrich and Shchinte. It's a very, very, it's a powerful nakuda that somebody shared with me, and through that, this was born. I don't want to mention it because I don't think it wants to be mentioned. There is Kitchebrichi is the midas of Atzilus. That is, it's the masculine. Shchinte is the feminine. Shchinte is Malchus Datzilis. That's the feminine. We represent the feminine of that thing that we don't. When he started communicating with us, he's communicating with us at Kitchebrich Shchinte. as far as Kitchabrich is concerned, he can squeeze us, he can crush us, because it's Ein Sof. Like, pain, more. This is nothing. That too is, I'm not fazed by that too. It's the beginning of Esav and Yishmael. Tolerating that level, like Yitzchak was able to see Eibishter even on Esav. He's like that too, that's Eibishter, that too. Till he went all the way to Toya, till Esav. He's holding space for Esav. He's like, Esav, what? That too is Eibishter. He was able to find, and in Avram with Yishmael, says Git, says Beseder, that too, love, till clip of Yishmael. Right? Yaakov mastered it, Teferes, the eagle. Teferes is the balance. So, back to the Hayom Yom that he said, at some point you have to say, Hashem, you're squeezing me over here. That is Shechina. That is awakening the feminine. And that is the Nakuda that I think we should all walk into Sukkot, which is Efresh Aleinu is the eagle, which is the the Rachmanas, which is the feminine. We should walk into the Sukkah, the Schach, what wraps us, the mother's blanket, the Schach, the Meya Koilis. We should go in with the feminine unity, which is Shechina, which is really saying enough. I mean, like, I get it. I can pass. You want to squeeze me? I can pass that. You want to suffocate me? You're suffocating me. I got it. I can do this, but let's do this with love. I'm ready. I'm ready to start loving myself. I'm ready to the famous story of one of the stories. The Lubavitcher Rebbe came to be Menachem Ovel, the Rebbe Yodesh, the Satmar Rebbe for his daughter, and they were talking. On the way out, one of the guys walked up to him and said, Lubavitcher Rebbe, I'm afraid that I'm becoming your chassid. So he said, if we can do it with Abba, why do you have to do it with Yidden? Right? So, at some point we have to say, okay, I get it. It's just, but you're squeezing, you're hurting. It's enough. Right? So maybe that's what he's asking, and I like it actually. I like it a lot, because I think it's we can go through. We're all tough guys here. We can go through the squeeze, another squeeze, and what's the point, right? Another tractor, another this, another building, another house. But we want a little. We're ready for Shechina. We are ready to greet and to meet our little boy, the Shechina, the imagination. We're making peace with it, and to commit, to not to betray it. And one of the ways to see it, one of the ways to receive our little boy is by not staying in the office till a minute before Shabbos, and just saying, with love, I'm checking out. Right, I've done my part, and from here on, you're going to have to finish the job, because this is above my pay grade. That's part of loving yourself, part of showing love. How much more can I take? So let's try that, right? Let's try that going into Sukkot. Asking questions so we can talk more.
Yeah, elaborate a little
What
more.
do you mean love?
First you gotta say L'chaim. Have to open another bottle?
That's
Ah,
not
es macht Phil,
Says
good. Phil, is es nicht, aber...
You don't L'chaim one? Was it Wasser? Wasser? Talk about the thing.
Yeah, no.
Huh? Is vodka?
No, I
What do you want? You want something else?
No, I'm okay with water.
It could take 10 minutes. Minimum.
Ich hab Zeit. Was?
You have time.
Alright.
What's the question? Yeah, what's the question?
But what's the solution surrendering to love in terms of Chaim?
Kling had a statement and just go upstairs, go home before Shabbos, and just surrender. Whatever
It's not love
good,
yourself.
Just love yourself.
It's very hard to know the line to surrendering and doing enough.
So what does it say? When all of a mashava to create a world, Okay, we're not going to get all technical right now, but it's not important. When it came up to the mind of the thing to create the world, that thing is full of love. Atzmas is oinek. It's like if you learn in Talmud Avodah, the first piece. I like to say the only word that came to me, huchtzat misken. You know what that misken means?
Yeah.
He's a nebuchadnezzar, so to speak. Our Father, Eibishter. He's so full of love. He's just pouring love. He's full of love. He's like a cotton candy love. What happened is that he needed something to appreciate him. He wanted to be a king on something. Now imagine if I'm a very powerful. There's more. If I'm a powerful guy, or if I'm a fighter, like I fight, and I'm in a little battle over there, and everybody knows that I'm the strongest guy. Whatever, it's not important for me. But if I come into the big city, and all the Schwitzers see me, Mike Tyson, or if I come in and I buy an expensive Mafterione in my shield for $250, or I can buy it for $50,000. I mean, where is it more? Where are flexing, right? I want everybody to see him. L'Shem L'Seferes, L'man Yishmei V'Roz. I'm listening to the God for, yeah. So he had to create something that is complete opposite of him to appreciate him. Something that's complete opposite of the texture of it, in order for it to see. But then at the same time, he's so tachas apshitas, he's so simple that he had to create something that can what is going to meet that type of simplicity. Anything with any type of yeshus is already not going to want to be a table. What's going to want to be a table? I have to find the texture that's going to be mavatal itself to me, and at the same time is going to appreciate my godless. So he created offer, he created dust. Efer, offer ve'efer, earth and dust. And Yitzir Kapov, he created that, and he blew in a neshama in that. He's like, here you go. I want you guys to see me. I want you to see me so I can be melech, I can be mamlech. And so it started. Now, what happened is over here, that ego came into play. Wow, how did ego come into play? How did Yeshus take over? What happened over here? What happened is that the minute when this water was taken out, let's go better to my I like my other mashal better. When I'm getting undressed to go to the mikveh, I'm walking to the mikveh, I'm fine. I come out, now I'm cold. I'm becoming aware of my body. Coming here in my body, I'm calling, I'm cold, and I'm embarrassed. He sees me and not see me. Who is this? Who is that? And all types of judgments and all that is once I get into prat, once I get into singularity, once I get into myself. When I get into that place of separation, when I'm dealing with something that is completely Ein Sof, something that is Bli Gvul, I'm limiting it to the point that, you know what that looks like? You want to know what it looks like? What happens when I get into separation? That I'm embarrassed to be undressed in front of somebody else. That's what that's what the snake looks like. When I'm embarrassed to get undressed, because before we ate from the Eitz Hadas, I had no busha. I didn't even know that I was naked. I had no clue. It didn't mean anything to me. Once I ate from the Eitz Hadas, once I became aware, I started having an ego. I started judging myself to the point where I'm like, am I big enough? Am I handsome enough? Hey, cover, don't see me, don't sweat. Ooh, where are you? Nowhere. Who asked you? Who asked me? Confusion, judgment. Yesterday, today, cheshbonis. That is called Shchinte Begelisa. That is called embarrassing Shchina. Shchina is so simple, it's so fine, that he doesn't care about anything. Shchina is so amazing that he came into Mitzrayim, he split the sea, he gave us man, He gave us water from a rock. He's like, water? Rock water. Man from the sky. What else? Anan, I'm going to surround them. Bullets, missiles flying. Can't touch you. I have a cloud behind you and in front of you. Anan, oish, aish. Whatever. We had it all covered. That's what Shekhinah looks like. But we are just a bunch of animals. And we started, hey, look at him. He's fat, he's short, he's stupid, you're not smart. What are you talking about? So Shekhinah had to shrivel up. What happens when you're cold? You shrivel up. You get into yourself. You roll into a bowl to the point where I can't express, I get a twitch or I get a OCD, ADD, depression, anxiety, all types of lack of expressions, and everything that we're talking about here is Shekhinah, Begalisa. Shekhinah has to hide because it can't show itself. To the point where, what's the purest form of Shekhinah? You know what Shekhinah looks like? The purest form of Shekhinah is a 6-year-old child with his nonsense that he's talking about. The colors, hey Tati, I was, yes, Shainak again. That is pure Shekhinah. That is Hevel Shel Tanega Shebesarah. B'schis Tanega Shebesarah. That's it. That's everything. Innocence, my tmimus. My 6-year-old child, if you ask anybody, and how old was he when he experienced this trauma? 6, 8, because that's when we get into consciousness. But that's pure Shekhinah right there. That is Shekhinah. Shekhinah is, he doesn't make sense to me. I'm too smart for Shekhinah. I'm the... Hakish kapara, morgen schäfer, reden wir morgen, nicht heute. Geh schlafen. No. Die guy schlafen. What he's saying is, he's expressing pure Shekhinah over there. Okay? Now, let's fast forward. What does that mean? When I'm coming into my business, and I'm stressing over it, and I'm having all types of judgments, all these judgments are just here to tzimtzum me, to pull me in, to finally get me, to twist me into a place that I have to connect and I just have to surrender to my 6-year-old child's imagination. That I'm going to go into the sukkah and I'm just going to be happy. But it doesn't make sense. That 6-year-old child does not know what sense means. He doesn't care. He knows one thing. Today is a Hanukkah, it's a party. It's sukkahs today, no school. Simple. No school, I'm happy. And most kids today, by the way, they want to go to school. They're unhappy being home because they're smarter than us. They're like, you guys are just a bunch, you're dumbing us down, get me out of here. Okay? Can't wait to get out of here. So, that's called Shekhinah. That's what you want to bring into the sukkah. That's what we're talking about. My bracha can't come in because I'm knocking any type of innocence. I am knocking the fact that I can just live in peace. I'm too grub, I'm too fahak to be able to surrender to. I don't need to work 19-hour days because I'm not a man if I do.
So why do you need to work 1 hour?
Because I ate from the Eitz Adas, and I stepped into a program that's not going to get it any other way. Because if I let you off the hook right now for work 1 hour a day, we're talking about Daraflog again. You're going to start building a tower in my head about how I can outsmart.
It's again back to the Tefed, the Yankov, to the...
Yeah, so this is what we're doing right now. We've got such a beating after 2,000 years of getting hit in the head over and over and over again, that now I'm like, okay, I get it. Oh, there's life without bricks, there's life without a Rolex, there's life without yeah. What does it look like? Say l'chaim and live. And what? And breathe? Yeah, just breathe. Faster and breathe, but I'm gonna get dizzy. Just breathe. I feel so amazing. Okay, so that's it. Then what? Take a lulav and shake it and feel. Get rejuvenated. Go into the sukkah and imagine. What does a child feel in a sukkah? Are you ready to surrender? What does a child feel in a sukkah? He's all up in arms. He's so excited until we ruin it for them. What does he feel in the sukkah? He's just excited. The colors and this. He doesn't know what it is. He's in the sukkah. That's what it is. Tonic built-in mortgage. You see these guys flying over here? That's what it's about. No reason. Don't contaminate it with any type of reasoning and any type of letters and any type of of conditions. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna spend so much, so you're gonna give me back this much. Why limit something that's unlimited? Why break the machine? Just let it flow. And the more we are ready and willing to surrender to it, the more atzmas I'm ready to download, the more I'm ready to surrender to it, the more I'm going to receive. That is walking in with Shekhinah. And
how do you square this with a Kabbalah or consistency in a Asay Tov? You need to say, let's say, you know what, I'm going to make a shir, yeah? I'm gonna come to this shir every week. Aside.
No.
6-year-old.
What is that? He's saying how does
Ja, wieso
because
stimmt es mit dem? Du machst a Kabbalah L'Toive, let's say, on a consistent basis.
Because your 6-year-old child is trapped in a snake. And the snake is going to have all different types of sounds. It's going to scream, I'm such a victim, I'm depressed, I'm miserable. He's going to play every trick in the book. You've done the breath work?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. What happened? So what happened? The first time, I'm dizzy, and then there's crying. I'm getting really a headache now. Now I feel like I'm passing out. I have to stop. I'm passing out. Okay, and if not for the guy singing like, go, 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 where are we going? We're going to meet that 6-year-old child. There's all types of inuyim and ikuvim that Avraham Avinu went through walking to the Akedah, which looked exactly like that. A headache. Now it came down to 2021 type of thing, because nobody's going to sacrifice their sons, even though we are sacrificing them. But I'm saying, but I'm talking about. No, let's get real.
6 at once.
But yeah, but I'm talking about how does that feel? I have to bring my nachash, my behemoth, to my hardcore commitment, so I can get in. I have to fill my room with Ananim, so I can get in to find my 6-year-old child, because he's so deep down over there. It's buried so much. Not our fault. We are ikvas and mashiach. We're at the bottom of the barrel. We're giving a tikkun and a bitter to the lowest, the biggest separation. You know how big the separation is? 5,700 and something years of separation. In other words, time and space is not real. It's just a creation, right? It's just something that we invented from the Itzadas. So it's almost like it's like the snake that keeps eating and gets bigger, right? And at some point, you're almost touching your tail, but you just keep missing it. You keep missing it. And this is how we're doing with the surmera. When I'm trying to figure out, I'm this close. Now I'm gonna get it. But it's just too short not to get it. Okay. So this is the Asay Tov. You're going into Asay, but in order to get to it, I have to go through the due diligence. I have to do A, B, C, and D, because we're that deep in the game. All right, it's not B'Sem English time. It's America. It's Golos Edom, where we're right there. We're chasing the tail, but instead of chasing my tail, I've chased my tail so much, and I've al-choizered so many times to see that there's nothing happening, that I'm already surrendering to like, okay, my whole room is full with the ananim, full with smoke. And now I'm just going to surrender. Instead of going here and there, I'm tired, I'm exhausted because it knocked me out. I'm just going to surrender to the moment. And this is how you get out.
Part of the Olam.
And this is how you tap into Atzmas. This is how you get to yourself. This is how you build from bottom up. This whole avodah for El and Tishrei is Memata Lamaila. Pesach is my Lamata. I'm getting free downloads, and I'm working myself from that koyach. Right now it's from Mata Maila. I have to process myself. I have to keep going through my process until I get to my keser. And we're doing this job from El a month and a half, and when it's pretty fast, right?
I can start before El already? Like it starts like Lily on a Schoide or?
That's when the tziruf learns. That's when this consciousness. Listen, we're always in avodah. The shir is the whole year. We're always in motion, but this consciousness of being able to literally clean and vacuum yourself starts El. Anil Dodi. That's when the tziruf happens, and there's this super consciousness that comes into Wild.
I think you're not in charge. You're not in charge. It's the energy of the time.
But what you're in charge of is the das application. right? Key is das. Das is key.
Yeah.
If
That's
I,
why from El you can decide if you want to start right as Chodesh El, or some people start
Well,
Basnizas and some people.
it starts right away, but sometimes it can take a month. But this is important. I wanted to do this. Is that
Das.
das is key. We did this last week. Anyways.
Mhm.
Das is key. In other words, das is the biggest haken chinik. The eitz hadas. This is where we went wrong. My midas and all that. If I tell you right now, listen, from here to Borough Park, this is the way. You're gonna encounter different struggles, but this is my way. It's very clear to me. I'm getting over there. But if you start going out and it's dark, and over here there's a click of this, and then there's dogs over there, and you're like, okay, I'm not sure. I'm gonna go the other way, and then no, this is also maybe it is the other way. Now there's confusion, and I'm confused. It's getting cold. I'm tired. I'm just broken. I'm giving up, and I have to get. But if I know the das is what's corrupted over here. My das is what I worry about this. I need to worry about that. I need to worry about 3, 4, 5 things, where really I'm spending all my energy not in the right place. I'm using my das in the wrong way. I'm using my das when really this is my direction. I need to go right there. And everything that I'm seeing in the process, I keep going. And if I have to walk through, what's that?
I'm a big cheshbonos rab, yeah.
I need to stay. If I'm focused on my goal. So this is what we're receiving right now. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we're binyan amalchas. We have a moment when we're walking into the sukkah. We are going into nesher mode. I'm going into das, which is now I can see everything. I know where I need to go. Titet emes Yaakov. I know where I need to go. Once I'm anchored, I know what my destination is. Anything that comes in the way, Choshech, Anan, Arafel, I don't care. I am holding on to my truth. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is my truth. Everything else is in the way to make it stronger. If I know that this is my truth, and there's a storm coming in the way, I'm becoming more stronger with my truth. I'm becoming stronger with where I need to go. I'm using everything as Ar Chozer to bring me back to my center line. And the other thing that we're adding for Sukkot is the Shechina. We want to go in with Rachmanis. We're saying, Hashem, I know you're endless. You can squeeze the olive. No matter how much you're going to squeeze, you're always going to find another drop in that olive. But, okay, it's time for Rachmanis. It's time for the Shechina is Eshes Chayil. It's the mother, it's the mommy, it's the schach, the one that hugs us, takes us around. We meet at the Chapkenim. Smoile Deuche. We meet at the Chapkenim. It's a whole different ballgame, and this is what we're walking into the sukkah with. You're putting on your gartel and you're walking in and you're saying, okay, with a smile, with love, and I recommend having a nice lachan before you walk into the sukkah. Here b'kodesh, like you have a pre-sukkahs for bringing. So when you walk into the sukkah, you're already full clothed in rachamim and oneness and acceptance. Oneness is tolerating myself. We're going into the lulav. We're wrapping it together with one. We're creating a oneness. And today is the Rebbe Rashab's Yortzeit. The Rebbe Rashab was Marash. Thank you. The Rebbe Marash's Yortzeit, which is the Ketchila Rebbe. The Ketchila Rebbe is like, we know that Eibishter is Esha Cheles. Eibishter is a fire, it eats everything. And any type of should I not? Look at Chila River, jump into it. What does that mean? When I jump into it, the famous story of the guy that came to the Rebbe and asked him to buy something. Yes, no, the Rebbe said yes, and he lost all his money. And the story goes like that's what a chassid is. You believe that the Rebbe knew, I'm jumping in, look at Chila River. Whatever the outcome is, look at Chila River. Whatever the outcome is,
you make the b'diavad.
Look at Chila, and whatever the outcome is there to archozer me, to put me into a stronger sense of self. My doubts are here to reaffirm what I stand for. To reaffirm that this is what I stand for, the truth. And emes me'eretz titzmach. Emes comes out from nothingness, from malchus, which is less than megar maklum. So I think this is. Any other questions before we?
Just a little additional about what he asked before about another squeeze, another squeeze, another squeeze. So
Where does it stop?
yeah. So what's my avoid?
To get the point. Just
Not
be
to
happy.
wait for another squeeze. Get the point by
Get
this
the
squeeze.
point to be happy and the squeezes are stopping already. I mean, you can see it already. You're living in a place that do you still have the same squeeze you had a year ago
No.
or 6 months ago? So you see that the Ebola Moas Al Netzach is already in full swing. I think anybody that's that we've been doing this work, check-ins, shear, and all that good stuff is living in a space of where we see that we're doing. You know, there's stuff happening. There's stuff happening. We're able to find the oil, the light in everything, and the message in everything, and that's the message. Once you get it, it will not come back. It will not come back again. Once you get the point, that problem will not be here again. It's done. It's done. Once you unwrap it, it is Yom Kippur, a day of forgiveness, which is, once I see it, I get into Atzmas, and from that place, once I recognize that there is a higher, Oisha Shalom and Remev, right? Ay Shemaim, Mechol, Gavril, Malach Mechol, Gavril, they're the complete opposites. And how do they exist? Fire and water, how can they exist? When they realize this, it's not about me, it's about something bigger, something higher than me. Once they see something higher, they're able to coexist, both of them together. Fire and water, right? And that is, by the way, salt is fire and water. Salt is water, and from the sun, which is fire, and they make a shalom. And this is what brings out the flavor and everything. You put salt on everything, it makes shalom on everything. It's kodesh bris. It brings out the taste of meat. It brings out the taste in everything. Right. So once you recognize there's something bigger, something higher than me, then you don't need the messages. And then I'm not afraid of the challenges anymore. My challenges are just here to reaffirm, to help me stay, to glide, help me flow, to help me glide. Because if not that, after a while I get stale. I'm like, how much can I? At some point, it's no more fun. I'm just gliding. So I get a little jolt. I'm like, okay, I'm flying again, and I'm flying again.
It's like a double one.
A double one. Yes. Say that. But by the way, the new generation, the new dar is already there. They're sitting on Amazon, clicking a few buttons. You know, what are they doing all that? Right.
So it's not on a technical level. On the spiritual way ook. Ik zei het bij mijn mannenkinderen. Het is anders wenn ik niet evil.
I beg that from our children, and I share this with one of my close friends too. Just stay out of their way. Our job is just to give them a home. They know exactly what to do. Don't tell them to daven, don't tell them to learn, don't tell them nothing. Just let them be. Just lead by example. Show them love, show them compassion, show them that you're there, you're listening to them, and take him to shul and let him do what he's got to do. Do not interfere with them. They're already there. They're so open. They're so advanced. And I mean, I see it even from the guys coming to the workshops. It's the 20-year-olds they're on a whole different level. They laugh at us. They're no.
I'm not doing it.
What am I doing? I'm not giving you riddles. I'm giving you fact. I'm telling you. I know. The 20-year-olds are on a whole different level. I also have a 21-year-old. They're on a whole different madrega. They get it. They're light years ahead. They're just matter-of-facting it. They're fine. They're good. You know, it's a whole different thing. So Baruch Hashem, we're definitely in a whole different space. And Tehei Shnas Panim B'Panim. Get into the letter. If you go into the Sukkah, have a l'chaim and meditate on the letters. Tafshin Pei Beis. And feel what it brings you. Everybody has something. Everybody has a connection there, that a message that's coming to them that they need to bring back into Welt. Not necessarily to share it, just to be that, and let that emanate from you, that understanding. It's going to be a very protestige year. We're all going to bring something to the table. It's went from the Aleph to the base. It's going to be. you know what? I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm just I pay base. This is what Chassidus is teaching us. It's the Allah, it's the letters, it's the pay, it's the panim bepanim, it's all the Rosh Tevas that's coming down the pipeline. And the most powerful one I heard was panim bepanim. It's a beautiful one. So we'll be able to internalize and to bring it into to pratim every single detail.